Hello, everyone, and welcome to Impact Marketing Summit. I brought together some of the world's top marketing experts to share with you their new age marketing strategies and techniques that would literally change the way you perceive and implement marketing in your day to day business. My name is Vamsi Pannala, and right now I'm delighted to be speaking with Colin Campbell. Colin Campbell is a direct response marketing expert, entrepreneur, and founder of Formula Publisher, a publishing company in Montreal that helps entrepreneurs clarify their unique selling proposition, communicate it in a book, and use that book to convert new prospects to clients and customers online and offline. After producing, publishing, and promoting over 20 books for highly successful entrepreneurs in 10 different industries, Colin turned his publishing method into a system anyone can use to get their book done in as little as 21 days. Today, Colin will be sharing 3 book publishing secrets for growing your profit, exposure, and impact. And if you stay tuned till the end, you will get an access to a special free gift that will help you become a better writer, communicator, and marketer, even if you don't have any previous writing skills. Without further anticipation, may I please welcome the founder of Formula Publisher, Colin Campbell. Colin, welcome to the summit.
Wow, it's almost like I didn't write that.
Yes, yeah, it did make a huge impact. It was a great introduction that I was looking forward to.
Okay, good. Well, thank you so much. And I will share my screen.
Yes.
From here, yeah. So this presentation and what I'm going to share with you is, again, 3 book publishing secrets for growing your profit, exposure, and impact. And how I'm going to share these 3 quote unquote secrets is through the lens of 3 case studies, real clients that I've worked with to produce and publish their books.
Okay.
So I'm just going to minimize. There's a screen here. I'm not sure if you can see that, but so I'm going to share how to get media and speaking engagements through the lens of Dorothy Andreas, CEO of Sewickley Spa in Pittsburgh. I will share how to attract highly qualified leads online using the example of Dr. Hilda Maldonado, who's the CEO of Pure Passion Wellness in LA.
Okay.
And how to position yourself as the #1 expert in your industry. And I'm going to do this using the example of Kirk Jaffe, who's the founder of the Mortgage Class in Los Angeles. Now, I'm really excited to share this. And right before I get into this, I want to tell you a very quick story because it doesn't take someone with a university education or some amazing skill in writing to produce a book. I'm the author of 2 books. First book is Break Through the Top 3 Author Blocks, Perfectionism, Fear, and Criticism. And the second book is Reactivate, the case study campaign that turns old leads into new sales. Now, both of these books are fewer than 70 pages. And the reason why I wrote them is because I wanted to encapsulate my experience as a writer and use these as a tool online to gain leads and establish more credibility. So at the end of the presentation, Break Through the Top 3 Author Blocks is the gift that I'm going to share with you. So I hope that this is valuable enough to want to go over to Formula Publisher and get it.
Absolutely.
So I was raised in a regular blue collar family. And when my mom and father split up, my mom taught me the importance of words. And when I got into high school, I was fascinated with words and reading, but I got into school and I got C's, D's, and F's. By the time I reached high school, I became a drug addict and had no purpose or direction in my life. And I met this guy named Joel Bauer. And Joel, it was at an event called Passion to Profit. And Joel opened up my mind and he became my mentor. He became someone that I started really spending a lot of time with and learning from. And he opened my mind to the idea that my passion that I had for words when I was a little baby and a kid could be something that I could turn into a career. And he connected me with this woman named Maria Giordano, who through a personal conversation, I kept on summarizing what she was saying about real estate investing, and she hired me to write the first book I wrote for someone else. So then after that, Maria connected me with someone else, and over the past 6 years, I've developed, produced, published, and promoted all sorts of books in all sorts of different industries. And each book has a different purpose depending on what the service provider wanted to do with their book. So
Okay.
you may have got to the point where you're so excited to write your book. You may have got to this point right now, or prior to this call, and actually sat down to start writing your book. And then 90 days later, you're staring at what I call the graveyard of unfinished text files. Vamsi, have you written a book?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Have you tried to start? Have you started one?
No, not yet.
Okay. Okay. So the graveyard of unfinished text files. Now, I know this very well because I had a graveyard of unfinished text files. These are like half-baked thoughts where you get super excited to write your book, but then life and work brings you back to, doing something else. And then you keep procrastinating on this project. And it's so frustrating because it seems like a book, quote unquote, should be easier to complete, yet it isn't because it takes time and energy and thought. So there's this thing called the page count myth. And if you eliminate the page count myth, meaning that one of the things that prevents people from producing their book and getting it done is that they have a misconception about how long it needs to be, or that it needs to be like the great American novel. And this is fundamentally not true. And I will share this in this presentation, prove it to you. But also, if you look at The Art of War, 72 pages. J.K. Rowling's book, Very Good Lives, is 74 pages. This book, which is called It Works by a guy that, it's an anonymous writer. I don't even know if it's a guy. It could be a woman. The famous Little Red Book That Makes Your Dreams Come True. It's sold over 1.5 million copies, and it only has 28 pages.
Wonderful.
So this was, I noticed this, and I realized that, okay, I want to make this process easier on myself. And instead of writing the great American novel, I just want some sort of material that I could use as a credibility builder, as something I could use online, as a lead generator. So this was actually the first book that I wrote. It was more like a pocket book or a manual. Mm-hmm. The Entrepreneur Awareness Guide, 3 essential questions you should ask before your next lead generation campaign. And it had 10 pages, and it literally took me 2 hours to write. I did some clever formatting to get, I put like one of the headings on like a single page so that I could actually print the thing. And that was, so establishing some, a creative way to get your material done, that if you have this misconception about how big a book needs to be, it really needs to be as big to offer value to your target market. That's really the purpose of your book. If it makes an impact on someone, then it's good. Okay, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but so let's talk about strategy number 1, media opportunities. As you can read here, Colin helped me write, publish, and launch a book as a #1 bestseller in the category time management. Now I'm filling my calendar with paid speaking engagements for that topic. So Dorothy is a service business owner. She has, 25, 30 employees in her Sewickley spa, and she wanted to do consulting with other service-based business owners. So she wanted to write Streamline Success, Eliminate Chaos from your service business so that she could get speaking engagements.
Okay.
So I want to share how to actually launch a book. Once you've got the material created, once you've got your ideas in the book launch method is basically step 1. When you publish your book on Amazon, you want to there's a little bit of code that Amazon gives you. It's copy and paste, super simple. I'm not going to get into technical details here, but what you want to do is have your own site. So her site is Streamline Success. And what we did was Streamline Success / book launch. It's a simple page. You can see, look at the page here. It's just a headline, get your copy of Streamline Success, Eliminate Chaos in your service business. It has the own URL. That is the bit of code. So what you're looking at when you see her cover, it's that copy and paste code that we put on the site. So it's the HTML that Amazon provides.
Okay.
And then you have specific buying instructions on the button. So buy your copy between 1 and 2 p.m. on February 20th.
Okay.
So why this is important is because now you've got a very streamlined buying process, as opposed to sending people to Amazon to buy the book on launch day. You want to send them to your own site so that they aren't getting distracted by, oh my God, I want to get that light, or, you know, this other book. You want to get them to buy your book. So that's the first thing, is creating your own URL and placing your book on it with the specific buying instructions. Book launch, step number 2 is to create a launch list. What that means is you get the name of all your clients, your prospects, and friends, and you place them into, it could be as simple as a Word file. You just want to be able to see the people that you're going to send a message to that invites them to buy the book. So book launch step number 3 is, once you have your list, let's say you have a list of emails, right, Vamsi? Like people have given you permission to send them emails?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be one category of list that you've got. Now you might have some friends that you have their text, you know, their phone number that you could give them a text, right?
Correct.
Perfect. So that's another category of contact information. So some people think like, oh, I don't have an email list. Well, you don't have to have an email list. You can copy and paste the names of people who are on your Facebook profile into that Word document and compile a list of people to reach out to. Does that make sense, that you don't need to have a list to do this?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So book launch step number 3, you write your promo messages. What that looks like is, you could model this. Message number 1, hey John, I'm launching my book, Streamline Success, Eliminate Chaos in Your Service Business. It's all about how to manage your time and overcome complexity. Would you get a copy? Hope you're terrific, Dorothy. Okay, so that's message number 1. After yes reply, so let's play this out. Vamsi, imagine I sent this to you, and what would you say? You hit reply, and what do you say?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, cool. So then I say, oh, amazing, Vamsi, and thank you. Here's the link, and you can see that's the link that I shared in step number 1. I'd really appreciate it if you can get the book between 1 and 2 p.m. That way it can become a bestseller on Amazon and ultimately help more people. If you can do that, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you, Dorothy. Pretty simple message. After no response, so if someone doesn't reply, you may do one single follow-up message and say, hey, just wondering if you saw this email. You know, you could hit reply to the email that you sent, and then, hey, just wondering if you saw this. And then if they say, and when they say yes, say amazing, and send them the after yes reply to message 1 email. I just want to stop sharing just for 1 sec. Are we good? Clear so far?
Yes, we are.
Okay, I'm going to reshare again because I wanted to share the story of I had a video that plays, and I wasn't sure if the audio would come through on your end. So, okay. So now you've created this book. This is what I'm about to share is the #1 bestseller status. Now, I'm going to just stop sharing one more time and say that this is a vanity metric. And what that means is that a bestseller status on Amazon is one quick fact that you're able to throw into your subject line. This is a bestseller in the category of time management. So
Okay.
it's just a tiny little bit more credibility, but it doesn't really mean anything in terms of sales. So I just wanted to be like as transparent as possible that
Absolutely.
if you want to produce a real best-selling book, you want to put some real time and energy into it and create something that has reference data and is just really powerful. And these smaller books can be very powerful, yet you're likely going to if you create a bestseller, just get that little fact that you can use in your promotion. Okay, so awesome. So this runs in parallel with the book launch strategy. You want to do this actually as this is happening parallel and before you launch. I should have shown this first, but you'll get the point of what I'm talking about.
Sure.
So when you're publishing your book on Amazon, what you want to do is go into books, right? You want to look in books in Amazon. You want to type in your topic. Her book was time management. I put thyroid healing because it's a different example here, but of Dr. Hilda Maldonado, but I'll get to that in a second. So you go in, you look at books, you type in your topic.
Yeah.
On the left-hand side, you're going to see the categories. The categories rank from books and for thyroid healing, health and fitness, alternative medicine, and healing. Now, Vamsi, which category do you think is easiest to become a #1 bestseller in, healing or books?
Healing.
Healing, exactly. And the reason is because more subcategories equals easier #1 seller status. There's fewer people there. If you're competing at the book level over here, fewer subcategories equals harder bestseller status because you're competing with all books. You're basically competing with like Elon Musk and Steve Jobs and all the other experts.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That was a mission critical drink of coffee because I'm not caffeinated clearly enough.
Absolutely.
So, okay. So this makes sense, right? Fewer subcategories is harder bestseller status. More subcategories equals easier seller status. So what you want to do is you want to go into Amazon on the front end, meaning their front-facing customer site. And you want to take a snapshot of 10 subcategories. You can see here, I've got the books, health and fitness, alternative medicine, healing, also herbal remedies, holistic, thyroid conditions, women's health. And you can see that these are the subcategories.
True.
I take this list and I bold the subcategories that you want to become a bestseller in, and you send them to the Amazon people through Kindle Direct Publishing. And you literally send them an email and say, I want this book to show up in these categories. If you don't do this, you will likely end up in a category that is closer to books, and it becomes harder to create a bestseller when you actually launch this. I don't want to get too technical, so I'm just going to check in with you. Is there any question on that, or are you clear on, do you want to replay?
Yeah, no. So basically what you're saying is that instead of trying to get your book ranked in the super category, which is books, then get your book to be a best publisher in the micro niche.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I get the
Perfect.
point.
Okay, cool. So then this is the byproduct. So this is John J. Fenton. He wrote 5-Minute Mastery.
You took your book,
Can you hear
5-Minute
this?
Mastery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what happened.
You took your book, 5-Minute Mastery, and this was a book that was the result of a 5-hour conversation between you and I, basically. Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, we had a couple of conversations, right? But it probably totaled maybe 5, maybe 6 hours total, yeah.
Yesterday, we conducted the launch. Your book went bestseller status in 3 categories.
Right.
Management skills, then work.
Okay, so what I wanted to convey there is that it works. If you create your list of subcategories and you send them to Amazon, they will show up. And if you don't do that, they may not. So in order to make sure that when you do the launch, it actually works, the it's like a mission critical step. So the summary is to create a launch page, create your launch list, and to create your promo messages, also choosing the proper subcategories, which I hope that I outlined in full plain view that you can actually use that.
Great.
Awesome.
Okay.
So this is Dorothy. I'm not going to play this because I want to just keep on going, but this is Dorothy conveying her story.
A #1 best-selling book.
About what she's doing now, which is speaking engagements. She's getting speaking engagements, which is her intention. Do you want to see this, Vamsi?
Yeah,
Or,
please go ahead.
Yeah, okay, go. I will. Okay, here we go.
A #1 best-selling book in the category of time management. It makes me more credible and more of an authority in that realm, so therefore leading to more invitations to speak on it, which has happened since the book came out. Having the book that I envisioned, and I got that book with your help and support, is the gateway to my future. Without that asset, I wouldn't be getting these invitations. I mean, I have international magazines are doing stories on my book right now in the service industry. That would not have happened without the asset of the book.
That's so cool. So basically, Dorothy summarized what she wanted. And this is one of the things that you want to do is that, you know, in a marketing campaign, what we're doing is we're asking ourselves, what is the end result that we begin with the end in mind. So it was not only, so the service industry was her target market for speaking engagements in the service industry. And she had some specificity around that, some subtopics.
Yeah.
But then the topics that she wanted to speak on were time management. So it became important to get that time management status on her book.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay, so we just covered Dorothy Andreas, CEO of Sewickley Spa. Now let's take a look at Kirk Jaffe, and this is on establishing yourself as a #1 authority in a particular market.
Sure.
So Kirk Jaffe, authority positioning. If you look at like service industry vendors, these are a bunch of real estate agents that I pulled off the internet. I just took screenshots of, you know, realtor in Google. If you take all of their business cards and mix them all together and you mixed up the phone numbers and emails, there's basically no difference. They look the same. There's no difference. There's no unique value, and they are a commodity comparable only by price.
Agreed.
And what happens when we're a commodity is we spend more time chasing money, less time with our family, more time on our phone dealing with clients, and creating more headaches.
Yeah.
And this is sad because a service-based business isn't a coconut. It's not a banana. It's not a piece of gold. It's not a piece of silver. We are not commodities. And the cool thing about service businesses specifically, or even a person that sells a product that they don't have a service, but that we can create assets that differentiate us from the other services, where a coconut just sits there. Like this is my impersonation of this is all they can do, is just be a coconut. But a service business owner can create a book and position themselves as different from the other service business owners.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what Kirk did. Is he wanted to establish himself as different and unique from the other mortgage officers. So he wrote Secrets to Choose the Right Loan Officer. Now I want to break down, and this should give you some insights into and some ideas of how you might create a book to specifically target a market. So what you want to do is select a specific target market.
Okay.
How real estate agents take control of transactions and client experience.
Mm-hmm.
I asked Kirk, where do your clients come from? He said referrals from agents, and he was going to write a book toward consumers, meaning people that are looking to get a mortgage. But when I asked him, who are the people that you're actually getting new leads from? He said realtors and real estate agents. So we decided to create the book targeted toward real estate agents instead. Target a painful problem. So take control of transactions and client experience. One of the things that Kirk told me is that the area of pain for a realtor is that there's this disconnect when a real estate agent has a client and they send that client to a broker, a mortgage broker or a mortgage officer. There's this communication breakdown and they don't know what's happening with the process. So they feel out of control and it's a vulnerable moment that kind of is painful.
Yeah.
So then on the book, and this could be a cover that you model for your own service or your own product. You want to position your solutions. So create profitable relationships, control the entire transaction, celebrate lifelong referrals.
Yeah.
So people judge a book by its cover, and this cover is designed to get real estate agents to open it up and contact Kirk. In addition to that, on the back, we've got the About the Author section, and Kirk Jaffe is a speaker, trainer, and expert at originating and closing complex loans for multi-million-dollar homes in 21 days or less. Now, this piece of copy and the About the Author, Kirk had been doing these $300,000 homes. He had only done a transaction on a few $1-million homes. And I asked him, what was the shortest time that you had done and originated one of these loans? He said, 14 days. So then I said, okay, so 21 days or less would be like a reasonable hook. And he said, yeah. So then he wanted to do more transactions for $1 million homes, meaning a more valuable piece of property, therefore a higher commission. Am I making sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So then what we did, and this is an insight on positioning, that when you've got the book cover and you've illuminated the target market, a specific problem, and a unique mechanism for solving that challenge, you want to position yourself on the back for the type of business that you want. You know, he was talking from his past and saying, well, $300,000 homes. And I was like, well, what do you want to do? And he said, $1 million homes. So that's why we turned the book into a positioning piece for that specific function. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Great. So then, position yourself as the expert. Now, that is strategic. Check this out. This is Kirk. He gets his books in the mail, and this is what happened.
So I got my books in the mail, ordered a whole bunch of them, and sent 5 of them out to one of my real estate partner companies' offices. And within 48 hours of him getting the books and distributing them to some of the agents in his office, I got 4 referrals. So am I amazed? No, because Colin's just that good and the process was that good. Did it exceed my expectations? Yes. Am I pleased? Unbelievable. This is going to monetize for me in the, I would imagine, $100,000 plus this year. And when I get those checks, I will certainly send Colin the proof of that so you can see that this process works, monetizes, it's the real deal.
That's so awesome. I'm thrilled that you can take this piece of material and then send it to a broker, in his case, and then get the referrals. He did exactly, we strategized the campaign, implemented it, and it did exactly what we wanted it to do. So next, so we just covered Kirk Jaffe on authority positioning. Let's take a look at our last example, Dr. Hilda Maldonado, CEO of Pure Passion Wellness.
Yeah.
So getting qualified leads online. The first thing you want to do is design a funnel. Now, I don't want to make this super complicated. You know what? If you want to learn funnels, you should take the 30-day challenge. It's where Vamsi and myself, I think Vamsi, you send out emails about the challenge with Russell Brunson. I got my 30-day book right here. And so Russell Brunson does the 30-day funnels challenge with ClickFunnels, and it was fantastic. So if you want to learn more about this, I don't want to get too in detail on this, but basically you've got 3 sections. You're driving traffic to a page on the internet. The page sells the book, and there's a sales process to make that sale, but it's a long form landing page. The person goes there and buys the book, and then we send the book through the mail to the person. So this is what we had implemented for Dr. Hilda. In addition, we took this book and created a client appreciation event. So this is a picture of the event itself, and these are all real clients, and Dr. Hilda delivering her speaking engagement and requesting people bring friends with them, which results in new clients. So between the funnel where people can buy the book, taking the book and using it as a reason to launch a live event. Now, granted, in this environment right now with COVID at the time, it will become normal again to actually have live events. Yet you could do an online, you could use the book as opposed to fueling a live event. It could be an online, summit or event. And you go to vistaprint.com and you create a bookmark. And what the bookmark is a review, like a testimonial of a real client of Dr. Hilda's, and then a promotion: suffering from constant weight gain, mental fog, uncontrollable mood swings, physical pain, and fatigue may be solvable by resetting how your thyroid works. Get access to Dr. Hilda's best-selling book for free, www.thyroidhealthinfo.com. And we have the cover of the book right there. Now, when we have that bookmark and a person, one of her clients, for instance, buys the book, or we want to send a free copy of the book to a client, what we do is include 3 bookmarks with instructions in the direct mail. So this piece of paper right here, step 1, join the free group where she's able to follow up with these people as soon as they join. Step 2, take a selfie with the book. Step 3, post your pic in the group. Step 4, share the bookmark with a close friend. So they share these bookmarks with a close friend, and this creates a viral marketing strategy for selling more of the book and generating leads online. Did I get too technical? Did I just put you to sleep there? Or does that make sense? Is there any question there?
No, I think you were referring to a book funnel, basically, like the other book funnels out there. So basically you sold her book in one of the funnels and you drove traffic to that, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And one of the ways that we're, other than paid traffic, to like paying for people to go to the page, is through the viral strategy, which is a free strategy-ish. I mean, you have to buy the bookmarks and design them. Yeah. But you have the bookmarks, it promotes the book. Instead of giving your, instead of sending, when you send the book to the person that buys it, you send the bookmarks and give them specific instructions for getting more people to that page. So if you're basically maximizing the dollar value of the money you're spending, whether it's on cold leads or the labor that you're doing to get people to that page.
Absolutely. Makes sense.
Okay. So that is that strategy, and these basically just the snapshots of leads come in, and you can see that the dollar values, it's 797, but then there's 1997, and what that is are people. Oh, sorry, man. Goodness, God. Yeah, I won't go through. So you can see that people take advantage of the audiobook as well. So on the page, we've got, hey, buy this book. They buy it. And then on the second page, hey, would you like the audio version of The Truth About Thyroid? Click this and you buy, and it's a one-click upsell.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
amazing. I love it.
Absolutely.
And that is, and again, I learned that from the 30-day challenge and going through and learning about the funnels.
Correct.
But since I'll leave that up to Russell because he's awesome at that, and I don't want to talk about funnels right now. So that is getting media and speaking engagements, attracting highly qualified leads online, and positioning yourself as the #1 expert in your industry. And my hope was that this delivered on my promise. 3 book publishing secrets for growing your profit and your exposure and impact. I've got this book, Break Through the Top 3 Author Blocks. It's a real value of $9.97. You can buy it on Amazon if you want, or if you'd like a free digital copy, you can get a free copy at www.formulapublisher.com. And that is the end of this presentation and the beginning of a quick conversation. How was that?
It was awesome, and thanks for those words of wisdom. I'm sure people who are going to watch this and people who have been procrastinating to write their book from a long time, I think now you have left them a methodology, an easier methodology perhaps, which will allow them to be able to sit down and start writing that book which they have been planning for a long time. And I'm sure that ebook also will have some of the strategies that would really help them to be able to write the book faster, because I think what you said is that they can write a book, create that impact, create that kind of profit that they are looking for in as little as 21 days, which will be amazing for someone who has been dying to write a book for a long time and not been able to do one. So I think this was an excellent session, Colin, and I really thank you for coming on the summit and sharing some of your thoughts and your expertise around this area.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Just as a couple of questions that I had
Sure.
after the session as a closing remarks. So you must have worked with a good number of clients, even some of the people who are really big names in their own niche, and the people who have probably seen money left, right, and center. But there is always that hitch in their head on whether they should write a book, or um, whether it should be a 500 pager, whether it should be a 1,000 pager, whether it should have a 30,000 words copy in it, or things like that. So what is those 2 things or a couple of things that you really want to tell people who really want to write a book, but something is really pulling them back? So what do you think is those couple of things that they should do so that they can actually start sitting on their chair and pen down what they want to write? So what would be your advice to those kind of people?
Yeah, it's really interesting. So I meditate, and I learned meditation from this guy who his name is Shinzen Young, and he did an excellent audio program which is called The Science of Enlightenment. And he has this quote about going to live events.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't be disciplined, be clever. So this is the first thing. If you can't be disciplined, be clever. So one of the ways that to make the process easier on yourself is to change the definition of what a book is. Okay. So I fell in love with this woman in Phoenix. I was in Sedona, Arizona. I wrote her a poem. It was called Your Eyes and Mine. It's about a nice little bird, and the bird is on a tree, and it's an analogy and a metaphor, and it was cute. And I wanted to make a bigger impact on her as opposed to just sending this poem to her. So I took each line and I did a page drop on each line. I put it in Word, and then I put the line in and then did page drop off to the next page. And it had like 25 lines, and I put a little introduction and said, I love you so much. And at the end, I said, I hope this is something beautiful. I'd love to take you out for dinner or something. And then I formatted it. I put it on Amazon so that I could print copies, and I sent her the book. And dude, she cried, and it was like in tears of joy. It was profound. And that was the first time that I realized that the purpose of a book isn't to create the great American novel. The purpose of a book is to impact someone's life.
Absolutely.
If a person goes to the restroom and they have your small book that was cleverly formatted with little content, but the content that's there is potent. It's something that really made a difference for one of your clients. It's the full beginning, middle, and end of part of a bigger problem. So if you take, you know, the entire problem that you're trying to solve and just help someone solve the first part of that problem, that is fundamentally useful.
Okay. Okay.
So if you create a book with that beginning, middle, and end, and you don't solve the entire problem of, you know, emotional rewiring, you know, if you're in like a coaching capacity or copywriting, you know, you talk specifically about headlines and you give the examples of headlines that have worked and your commentary on them, then you can make the process easier on yourself. And instead of being disciplined, be clever, get your book done and get something complete. And what this does is gives you a new sense of confidence. So now if you want to produce a bigger book, you feel more competent, more confident, and able to produce that bigger book because you have that little blip of, yeah, I know how to do this, and now I know how to adjust it. But the thing that screws people up and makes them procrastinate for so long is that they have an unrealistic expectation and they believe the page count myth, or that they need to create something that's ridiculously big and huge. So I think that's one of the things, is solve a smaller problem, create clever formatting, if you can't be disciplined, be clever. And I mean, if you want help, go to www.formulapublisher.com. I send out an email every Sunday with a blog article, and I'm here to help people become better communicators. So, and if I can help you, great. Stay focused, but make it easier on yourself. Is that good? Is that all right?
Absolutely, Colin. And I thank you again for coming on the summit. And it was truly a pleasure. And starting off with a topic like this, I strongly feel books are divine. So starting off the summit with a topic like this, I think there's nothing a better start that I could have asked for the summit to kick off.
Fantastic. Vamsi, thanks so much for having me, man.
Thank you so much.